Hey there YouTube, it's me TFR Wilderness. Welcome to my channel and welcome to the first of this month's Korean toy reviews. Yes, today I've got another figure from the Metal Cardbot toy line because as I've said, I've decided to start collecting all the figures from the Metal Cardbot toy line. Well, all the basic figures anyway, not not including that rehash of Blue Cock where he gets that powered up mode to fight the final boss in the final episode. Yeah, so I'm not going to bother with him. But anyway, so the next figure, I mean, I've been collecting these figures in the order in which Jin, the main protagonist character in the show, is capturing these bots as he goes through the episodes. And this is the fifth character that he caught, and it is Shadow X. And Shadow X is he's kind of like a robotic ninja who turns into a purple bi-rotor helicopter, but he's also a bit of a joker. He can turn himself invisible, and he plays in his debut episode, he plays lots of practical jokes on Jin while he's walking around in the street, causing him to trip over himself and bump into invisible things that aren't there, and all sorts of stuff like that. And Jin thinks he's cursed or jinxed, and it's just this this robot playing pranks on him. He's an okay character in the show. Like I said, he's a bit of a joker. He likes having a laugh and a joke. Not that I can understand, Korean in any way, shape, or form, but from the gist of his mannerisms from the show, from the episodes that I've seen, he is a bit of a comedian. Yeah. Now, obviously, his figure, his toy, is one of those that I would have given a miss. I wouldn't have bothered to buy it, because I'd seen other people's review of it and it looked a bit small and a bit basic, and I wasn't really a massive fan of it. But like I said, as I decided to collect all the toys from the line, I had to buy it. So here it is. So start off with, here's the box. As you can see, it's a typical Metal Cardbot box made out of a good strong cardstock. It's got a picture of Jin on the cover. It's got his name, Shadow X, there. It's got some pictures of him there. The Metal Cardbot logo up there, more stuff on the side, more stuff on the back. It shows his card weapon, which turns into a big purple sort of shuriken. There's a picture of him again. More stuff on the top, and then the usual Korean product information on the bottom. So yeah, it does come with some instructions, which are still in the box. I can't be able to get them out. Comes with his accessory, his metal card. So as per usual, you've got the basic card, and this works with the activator watch, or what do they call it, the Carbot, or the metal bracer, or whatever they call it in the show. You plug this in, it does lights and sounds, and it's got his name on there, Shadow X. It's got some nice painted detail, and then it's got the Carbot sigil on the back. And then you've got his card weapon there, which we'll get into in a bit. Right, so the toy, or the guy himself. Here he is. Here is Shadow X in his alt mode, which is, as you can see, it's a dual rotor helicopter, or a bi-rotor, or whatever you want to call them. It's got this nice sort of sharky, sort of toothy grin on the front. He's got his eyes are in the sides of the cockpit. You've got the two rotors here with the rotor blades. He's got tail rotors in the back. He's got little tail fins. He's got, I don't know, boosters out the back. He's got somewhat appear to be like engines or air intakes on the top. And he does have some sort of landing gear underneath. He's got these little nubs here and here, which if you happen to have a flat surface, it will actually stand upright without falling to one side. Now, this being a helicopter, in my opinion, it should have rotor blades that spin, but they don't. They're just dumb pegs that peg into the ports on his arms, and they don't spin. Now that to me is a cardinal sin. A toy helicopter, the blades on it should spin, or the main rotor blade should at least spin, and this toy doesn't do that. So that's a big demerit to the toy, in my opinion. Now you can turn them round, but because they're on a peg and you turn them, they just come off. They're just on a dumb peg. They can be in a bi-rotor, you know, you can have them angled backwards to give him forwards thrust, or, you know, sort of angle them up to hover. So it's got that. The front of the shark nose kind of opens up like that, or if you want, the cockpit can open up like that. Not there's anything in there, but that's all part of the transformation anyway. There's not much more you can say about this. It's got some nice colours. It's got the nice purple going on. It's got some silver, some bits of blue, and some black. It's got these silver streaks on the side. It's okay, but it's a bit small, and the transformation on this guy is kind of basic as well. So let's transform him. Now, obviously, you probably need to take the rotors off for the transformation, or you can leave them on if you want. So, yeah. Right, transformation on this guy is laughably simple. So basically, to start off with, you bring the legs down, split the legs, fold back the wings, and that's your legs done. Then for the arms, yeah, you sort of bring those down, you bring the rotor blades up, and then bring the engine nacelles back. The fists come out on a little nub. Then you're his head, it comes up like that, and then round the back, the cockpit section just splits like that. And there he is in his robot mode. And like I said, very simplistic transformation. There's not much to it. This is a very simple figure, and this is probably going to be a short review because there's not much I can say about this thing, because to be honest, he's a little disappointing in my mind because he's so simplistic, so small. You know, he hasn't got working rotor blades, blah blah blah. You know, he's out of all the Metal Cardbot figures that I've bought so far, this one's probably the one I would definitely have, you know, given a miss on and not bothered to buy. But because, like I said, I'm buying all the toys from the line, I had to get him. So I'm gonna humour you with my review on this thing. It looks all right in robot mode. It looks pretty good. He's got the ninja style, and he's got that sort of that headband across the top of his head. He's got this sort of missile detail that comes out here. You know, he's got a good amount of you know, paint detail. You've got the purple and the silver, a few bits of gold and the black. Looks pretty good. He's got that X on top of his on his crest as well, on his head. Yeah, aesthetically he looks really good. And if you like the colour purple, which a lot of Transformers, especially those that like Decepticons, you know, like the old colour purple, yeah, he's pretty good looking. Now, unfortunately, articulation on this guy is very lacking as well. Now, he does have a ball-jointed head that gives a good range of movement. It's got a little bit of wiggle from side to side, and then it can go all the way around. It can look up and down a bit because it's on this the transformation joint where the head folds down into his chest. So it's got a little bit of motion. Now let's take these blades off for a minute. Now the arms, that goes all the way round. Now this engine piece does hit this piece in the back, kind of. So there's a bit of collision issue there. The arms go out to the vertical, or the horizontal, sorry, because of transformation. He does have bicep swivels, again, part of his alt mode, because he's a bi-rotor and he has that the rotor blades have to angle backwards in order to give him forward flight or forward thrust, so that's why he's got that. Elbows about 90 degrees. Hasn't got anything at the wrist. That's about it there. Now, moving down, nothing at the waist, but he does have, due to transformation, an amazing ab crunch. So, that one. So he can literally go right down with his ab crunch. Again, doesn't have anything else on the waist. The hips, forwards, back, out, so you know, it's got the full spread. No thigh swivels, and the knees only go to 45 degrees. Now if you look on the back of the leg, you've got this block here, which when the leg rotates forward, it jams in the front of the knee and doesn't allow it to go any further. So if they'd have shaved off a bit of plastic inside his knee, he would have been able to get 90-degree knees. So that's a bit disappointing. And the feet, there's nothing on the feet. The feet are absolutely static. They have that usual angular cut to give him a neutral A stance when he's standing on a flat surface. So there you go. Pretty restricted articulation wise. Like I said, I mean, he could have really done with some thigh swivels. Would have been nice if the knees went to 90 degrees, which they don't. Upstairs is not too bad. Downstairs a little lacking. Now, one more thing to go is card weapon. So it's this thing, and as you can see, it's just a colourful pink transparent block. But then to transform it, you turn it like that, and then you start pulling out the spikes. Like so. And then you do it again. And again, until you've got his shuriken. And then on the back it's got a peg which you just pull out, and there you go. And there is his shuriken weapon. Now, like the rotor blades, it does have a peg in the back, but it's a dumb peg and it doesn't spin. Now, you can plug it in on his arms where the rotor blades went, so it just plugs in like that. But when you try to spin it, it falls off because the peg just works its way out. So yeah, again, a bit of a missed opportunity there. If they'd have had a spinning peg, or better still, the bit that pegs into it, if they'd have put a spinning mechanism in there, you could have locked the peg in and then it would have rotated around the spinning point. Oh, the phone's gone ding again. So yeah, it's a bit disappointing that this thing doesn't spin. I mean, in the show, this is part of his main weapon, and he does you know, like a spinning shuriken, boomerang, windmill type thing. He does with it. He can spin it to create like wind, and then he throws it at people and as part of his attack. So it'll plug in the rotor ports on either arm, like so. The rotor port, the rotor blades themselves can fold up to form a kind of a blade, I suppose. He can hold those blades, so like so. So if he wants to go into battle with them things, he can do that as well. So that's another thing he can do. But yeah, that's about it. That's about all I can say for this guy. Yeah, he's a tad disappointing. Oh yeah, one more thing before we go. Look, that thing that I like to do the size comparison. So here he is next to Combiner Wars Megatron, who's my usual size comparison, and as you can see, he's way smaller. He's barely half the size. And now, if you give me a moment, I'll just get the other Cardbot figures out of the other room. Right, so here he is next to another small figure in the shape of a Blue Cop. So he's about the same size as Blue Cop. Okay. Then we've got Mega Trucker, who is quite large. He's one of the bigger figures in the line. So yeah, there he is next to Mega Trucker. Then we've got Mega Ambulon. So there he is next to him. He's smaller than him. And finally, subject of last month's Korean reviews, Phoenix Fire. So he's a bit smaller than Phoenix Fire. So he's one of the smaller figures in the line of the ones that I've got. I'm fairly sure that, well, I think Wild Guardy is also similar sort of size to this guy. He's to come. But I think the rest of the figures in the line are somewhat bigger. The next capture, or the next figure that I'm going to be going for, is Dexter, the excavator. He'll be next, and I'm not sure who the next capture is, because I just watched the latest episode, the one where Fleeta Z, the jetliner, appears, and I don't know whether he's the next capture or whether it's going to be Wild Guardy. I'll have to wait and see. But anyway, so here we go. My review of this guy, Metal Cardbot Shadow X. He's small, basic, kind of disappointing. It looks okay. Restricted articulation. Interesting, amusing character in the show, but his toy doesn't quite measure up in many ways. So that has been my review today of Metal Cardbot Shadow X. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next week for another Korean toy review. So without further ado, I bid you adieu. Goodbye.